Welcome to Wrist Swap. My name is Harrison. Today we're talking about the watch that keeps popping up on my feed. I'm sure happens to you a lot. It's the Studio Underdog Chronograph. Now, originally the Watermelon was the key watch that came out, and then he came out with different models, and he specifically being this man right here. This is Richard Bank. On his website on the About Us, he has himself in 3 different roles by 3 different names or nicknames. I thought that was hilarious. Now, it's not gonna break any records of best value or most amazing movement or, the design to kill all designs, but it's different and it's exciting. And there are some things here that I think are really interesting that most people have pointed out, which is the fact that, the basic thing is that the chronograph hand, when reset to 12, doesn't cover up the logo of the company. And it's something you would expect someone to have come up with before now, but obviously it didn't happen. Most watches have, hands that move and don't always cover up 12 other than chronographs. And when they came out, they just kept the dials the same with the logo up at 12. So I thought it was interesting to offset it because it was a chronograph. It's very different. It's very unique. Now, how that plays into future watches, I'll be interested to see whether it goes back to 12 or it stays offset, because I don't think chronographs will be the end of this company, but mainly all that they do are affordable chronographs. Now, if you're new to the mechanical space or watches in general or chronographs, typically chronographs are more expensive. They're more complicated. There's a lot of moving parts to them. Even if you bought a raw movement from a watchmaker or watch supplier, you're talking about several $100s, whereas a standard watch movement, even a nice Solita movement, might be only $120. Looking at the same version from the same company as a chronograph, you're looking at closer to $500 to $600. And so that difference, that delta, is just because of how complicated they are to get right. So chronographs are more expensive, they're more complicated. And so the only way you can get an affordable chronograph is to make the movement cheaply. And this movement in here is a Seagull movement. It's the popular low-cost chronograph movement. How did they make this movement? It was originally a movement that was made by a different company named Venus, V-E-N-U-S, and it was made by a lot of different companies. Venus movements were inside Breitling Navitimers. It's a popular movement manufacturer that when they went default, all their machinery and jigs and stuff were bought by a Chinese company that then started recreating the same movement. So what it means is that it has most likely outdated tech in it. I don't know about the materials used in it. The finishing is fine. I mean, it's pretty good given the fact that it's a $500 watch, but you don't expect it to last forever. But if you need to replace it, they're pretty inexpensive. And that's part of what I like about it. What's cool is also the chronograph isn't just a standard cam actuated chronograph. You've got a horizontal clutch, but it's a column wheel chronograph. Now, if you want to know what a horizontal clutch is versus a vertical clutch, or column wheel versus a cam, and why one is better or different, we can do a different video, let me know down below. But the point is that a column wheel is typically not seen in a lower cost product because of the fact that the column wheel is typically expensive to maintain and to replace and to manufacture. And so you don't see them all that often. But point is, I'm impressed. I mean, the movement operates quite well. The nice thing about a column wheel actuation is the fact that it's very easy to use and very responsive. So you don't typically have, like with a cam, a pretty hard push on it. So it's pretty nice. It functions very well, but mainly what this watch is known for and what it stands out for is its design. The blue dial, the offset logo, the fact that it's got a big eye or one of those subdials is larger than the other, the different ways that it plays with the textured blue that fades as it goes into the middle to match the same color as the outside ring around on the tachometer. And the rest of the value is built into the watch. You've got a sapphire dome on the front and you've got a sapphire case back. It was assembled in Great Britain, which I think is pretty interesting and unique. And the strap on this, the color that they pick is fantastic. Not to mention the leather is nice and smooth and supple. And it reminds me of a strap that I have that's a taupe strap like this. I don't know if it's made by the same people. I'll show you on the website who this is made by, but it's a very comfortable strap. I mean, I could wear this anywhere and it would feel really great. I like a supple leather strap, especially in this taupe color. The fact that he picked a taupe color because I love it, I think is great. Now for the price, you know what you're getting. right? And so there can't be a way that you're really disappointed because it's an affordable chronograph. You know what you're getting. You're getting design. You're getting design. That is what you're getting. And that's why you pay slightly more than you'd buy this Seagull movement in most other watches. Typically, you'll see the Seagull movement in a watch around the $500 price point. That's true with Laurier and a Gemini. Now, I will say I have had issues with the movement in the past. Again, it's affordable and easy to swap out. So I expect if it ever breaks on me, if I keep this, which I don't think I am. I think I'm gonna have to sell it to keep funding the channel. But if I were to keep this, I would just swap out the movement if I had any issues with it, which is relatively uncomplicated. But I have had issues. When I owned a Laurier Gemini, the movement itself would stop. The minute hand on the chronograph would stop after, I wanna say like 5 or 10 minutes. It would just stop. It always stopped at the same point. And I never really figured out exactly what it was. I didn't really know watchmaking back then, and I barely know it now when it comes to chronographs. So I don't know exactly what was not working on it, but there can be teething issues on this movement. So you just have to know that. You are sacrificing a little bit of that in order to hit a price point and to have a great watch for a really cool price. So just be aware of that. But other than that, I mean, especially if you're willing to replace the movement because it's so inexpensive to do so, I think it's a great watch. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. It's cool. It's different. And I support anyone that's having fun and at the same time building a small business because I admire it and I can relate to it. So great watch by Richard. Great watch by Studio Underdog. Love their logo too. It's just a unique and fun piece. And I think if you're someone out there, whether you've got a lot of expensive pieces or inexpensive pieces, this is a watch that would be fun to add into the collection. It stands out in a watch box. It makes conversation. It stands out on a wrist. My wife loves it for a summertime watch. It's fun. It's a unique, fun piece. So what do you guys think about Studio Underdog? Let me know down below. If you like these sorts of conversations, this sort of content, please do me a favor and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.